Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 39 of Quaint and Cozy KC. I am your host, Lainey Renee, and oh my gosh, this is an action-packed show. I'm gonna try to kind of keep the length down. Like I'm not gonna, try not to pontificate too much, but I did so much. I did so many fun things. Okay. Can I just tell you, I did a lot of fun things. So I'm going to tell you about my time, my whirlwind day trips to Weston, Missouri, where I went to the National Silk Museum. Then I also went to the Farmer's House Market. And then I went to like this antiques place that's on the edge of town, which is really cool. And that has like the Cole House Lodge, Jeff's Architectural Salvage, the Cole House Saloon, the Little Chapel. It has bike rentals, JT's General Store and Gifts. Like, but I didn't explore all of those, but I did explore some of them. So I'll talk about that. And then my real purpose was going to Platte City, was going to Platte City, Missouri, because I was meeting with the Silent Book Club. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. If you're in the Northland, there is a Silent Book Club of the Northland. And what I'm going to do is I just want to make sure that I'm getting the name of this correct because, and again, if I don't get something correct in my podcast, yes, the Silent Book Club of Northland, KC. So you know that if I don't get it correct, on the podcast, I will always, have something in the show notes. So that is very exciting. So I'm really excited to kind of go through there and yeah, it's going to be, I don't know, really excited about that. So then, also in Platte City, there is the Ben Ferrell Museum, and I did talk about them. Now, they are not open on Saturdays, but I always want to give a shout out to a museum in the area. They're having some things that I want to talk to you about. But originally, was going there for the Jowler Creek Winery. So I went there, and I'll review that on Aunt Lainey's Kitchen, just because it's like one of those, it's like a winery. And again, I know with my last episode, I talked about NYX, but that was just a general kind of as an event space. So yeah, because I actually tried like I tried something at Jowler Creek Winery, and I'll talk about that on my Aunt Lady's Kitchen podcast. Okay. And then also I'll have some comfort, like a little bit of comfort for you at the end. Okay. So we are in Weston. Now, listen, I've gone to Weston a couple of times. And I was looking because again, with gas prices, whatever, I'm, with Quaint and Cozy KC, I'm all over the place. So I'm like, you know what? Let's be smart about things because gas prices are not coming down anytime soon, it doesn't seem like. So let's kind of like piggyback. So I've been trying to go to the National Silk Museum for a while. Um, but I wasn't able to do it. And I thought, you know what? I've got a window to do it, and I'm going to be within, around Platte City. So, because Weston's like maybe I think 13 miles away or whatever, but it's close by. So I went to Weston first, and yeah, there was something. I think there was some kind of Sasquatch festival, and that's the thing about Weston. I love it. It is kind of like this quirky little place, a cool place to go. But you got to know. And I got there like maybe I don't know, like I want to say 11ish. Uh, I got there kind of around I think maybe 11 something. And I'll tell you that when you get there that late on a Saturday, like in the springtime, summertime, even early fall, you are just asking to park at the edge of town. So if you're somebody that doesn't like to walk far, to the restaurant, I would suggest going to Weston in the morning. Like get there for breakfast. Do like try to get there by 8. And again, that depends on the festival, but get there by 8. That would be the thing. Now, listen, I was fine to walk. I was like, okay, I was prepared to walk, but if you're not, something to keep in mind. Okay. So, I started taking pictures because I always do that in video. I'm doing more video. And so I was walking up because I kind of parked near like the edge of town. And so I was walking up kind of the hill because there's like a little bit of an incline thing. I was kind of walking up there and I was like, okay, the museum is here, and there were like people inside, like there's kind of a line. Now this is a cute little museum, but it's not that little. When you look on the outside, it looks like, oh, maybe there's like maybe like a room. And then, again, there's a lot of spaces like that. Yo, that place had at least three or four rooms to kind of walk through. And, the owner of the museum was kind of like, very knowledgeable about, silk art. And, there's a huge loom. You walk inside, there's a huge loom. Now it's a free museum, but of course I like to donate. I think I donated like $7, like something like that. I try to keep it between like $5, $7, like that kind of thing. And he gave me this really nice kind of tour. Like he started off in the front and he, gave me the history, and then he kind of let me kind of wander through, and he gave me kind of like, hey, if you go to this, like if you go into the second room, there's one painting, like look at it, and then it looks like the eyes are following you. Like it was kind of cool. So he kind of knew, he knew every piece in there, and he's kind of an expert on like, silk art. So it was really cool. I spent probably about 45 minutes to an hour. I probably could have spent more time, but I was on a schedule because I still had to, do something, I still had to check out the antiques thing. Okay. But before I did all that, on the way into town, I do want to say I did go to the farmer's house market. Now, if you're going into what you're driving into Weston and all that stuff, I thought the farmer's house market was the same as the farmer's market, but that's not true because I went to the farmer's market last year early, and then the farmer's market place had not been opened yet. So it's a really cool space. They have like, and it's kind of built and it kind of there's a lot it was built kind of to help out people, with autism and special needs and everything like that. And they have this community and all this stuff. There was a cute general store. They had like, they were selling like, food and drinks and all kinds of crafts. And they had someone playing the piano, like playing some of the top 40, keyboard playing the top 40 hits. It was kind of cool. And then they just had like these cute, like this cute little, looked like a little park, and it had, some equipment there. And I just loved the vibe there. And then there's like this truck parked out front, and they had like this farm stand. I really loved the vibe there. It had a nice kind of friendly vibe. And so I only stayed there because, again, like I said, I had to actually get into town. And this is where I stopped before I went to the National Silk Museum, because I was on my list as well, because I would always miss it. And they only stay open. They're a seasonal thing. So they're done, I think. I think they wrap everything up sometime in maybe October, early November, something like that. And so, you go there in the summertime and you're like, oh man, it's not open all year round. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. I really liked it. It was a really fun time. And it's a kind of space where, you could take, your kids and like the elders and whatever, but it is crowded. Like there's a lot of people going in and out. So if you have a thing about crowds, I would probably try to show it maybe on the earlier side. Um, but yeah, and they have parking. It's not paved parking. It's kind of like, dirt parking, but and you have to kind of go up an incline and go down an incline. That's just FYI, so you can kind of, understand. Like, so I wouldn't take a huge truck or anything, like maybe like a four-door sedan or a small SUV, something like that, just as far as like parking spaces. So I had a lot of fun. I was like, oh my gosh, I took a lot of pictures and some video, and it was just nice to be in the vibes. And yeah, definitely we'll try to head back before their season and maybe go in the early fall. I might do that. Okay, and then I talked to you about, going to the National Silk Museum, which was a really cool experience. And then, with this museum, it's going to take you some time. Like if you can do it in 45 minutes, but it would be so much more fun if you kind of did it in like an hour and 15, really like looking at all of the craftsmanship and everything like that. Okay. So now I am walking back down the hill, and I'm headed towards the antiques. And again, it says antiques, right? When you look up, there's like antiques, and you kind of see like like this bridge. And it looks like you're kind of going into like a train depot thing. It's super cool. You walk across the bridge, and and it's like it looks like it's over like a creek or something like that. And just lots of lush greenery. And again, there's a railroad track by the parking lot. I mean, all of the things. It's so cozy. It's so quaint. It reminded me of Montpelier, Vermont. It just had that kind of Vermont vibe thing going on for me. And so then I was kind of like walking around, taking pictures, taking a little video, like whatever. And yeah, just seeing all the things that they have there. Like I said, they've got antiques, they've got like, the Cole House Lodge, Jeff's Architectural Salvage, where, they sell things there, and they've got, all of that. And then the Cole House Saloon, which I wanted to go to, but I didn't have time because I knew I was going to be running late for the Jowler Creek Winery thing. So I was like, let's just, put like that on the rain checklist. And then the little chapel, which I did not see, and the bike rentals. There's so many cute little spaces here. So many cute spaces. You just feel like you're kind of, and there's a lot of places to sit down. I appreciate that. They had a lot of seating out there. And you just felt like you were in some kind of like antique, cozy wonderland, with all this vintage stuff. It was really, really cool. Yeah, definitely really cool. A really good place to me to do a day trip. Like this is like total day trip. And I know a lot of people they'll spend the night in Weston. They'll like, maybe get a bed and breakfast for like, the weekend or something like that. And I totally understand why they do that. So this is the kind of place where it might take you a couple of days. So if you're doing a day trip, I would uh I would focus my energy on like I feel like this is 2 day trips. Like the first day trip you do, like if you come on a Saturday, I would kind of like, go through there, hang out, for the day, like do like lunch, walk around for a couple hours, then maybe, go, to the downtown and, take some pictures and whatever. And then maybe, get a nightcap at O'Malley's, which is there. It's kind of in a cavern. That's a super cool place too. And yeah, definitely a way to daycation, staycation in your city. Another good thing to do, and again, I'll talk about this more as the World Cup gets a little bit closer, is that sometimes the best thing you can do if you're like, oh, I don't know about this vacation thing. This seems like a lot. I don't want to just go and have lunch someplace, right? Like in my last episode, I talked about historic downtown Liberty. Go pick a place in Liberty to go have lunch or do an early dinner if you kind of want to, like something like that. And then you can kind of explore around and see because to me, daycations aren't just meant for like if you live in the area, daycations aren't just meant like, well, I just went there one time and I don't have to go again. It's a place that you can kind of go. It's like a little refuge that you can go to. Like, hey, let's go have lunch in Weston today, and like maybe explore a little bit, maybe buy an antique or 10, something like that. Maybe like stop by a museum, but start with a meal, right? Start with a meal. And again, like I said, if you go at lunchtime, sometimes it's super busy. Parking can be difficult. So I always say start off with breakfast, like, and then kind of walk around and take your pictures and do whatever. And then, hit up one of the museums or, hit up one of the shops. I think a lot of the shops might open at 9 or 10. So you can just kind of like, slowly walk and saunter through there. Okay, I'm off my soapbox right now, but I'm going to hop back on. I'm just kidding. Platte City, Missouri is where I went next. And, I went to the Ben Ferrell Museum last year and they had all their quilts, right? And so they've got another 250, semi quincentennial exhibit going on as well. Now, they are not open on the weekends. Like, I think they're only like they have special kind of occasions when they're open for special events. So, again, be checking out the Ben Ferrell Museum website, and I will link it to the show notes so you can see and kind of, stay up. And maybe, sometimes day trips are great on a Thursday. If you can take a time off from work, maybe do like a half a day, like work till 12 and then head on down to Platte City, to hang out for a little bit. Or, if you can take the day off, whatever it is, to check that out. They also have a farmer's market there, a cute little farmer's market, up and coming farmer's market in downtown Platte City. But unfortunately, for most Saturdays, the museum is closed. Okay, now Jowler Creek Winery, I'll talk about, like what I had there in my Aunt Lanie's Kitchen podcast, but I'll tell you that the vibes there are really good. It's super cute. There's a lot of parking out there, which I really appreciate. And they actually have food. They actually have like pizzas there and some appetizers. So that's good. I know sometimes wineries, they just basically do like the nibble board. Again, that's fine. There's always a place for that. But yeah, I I didn't get a pizza because I knew that I was going to be, going someplace else. Like after that, I already had some plans. But yeah, it looked good. Like it looked really good. And so now we're going to talk to you. I'll talk to you. I'll kind of like roll that in and talking to you about like the silent book club um that I participated in. And it was kind of like the silent book club of Northland KC. Um, it was kind of, I joined this, and this is so funny. I joined this group, but first I told everybody about the group when I saw it. I was like, yeah, you got to join this group. You got to join this group. You got to do this. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I hadn't had time because I'm running around to actually go. So I went to the 1 year anniversary of it, and I'm so glad I went. So I have a book and that I've been trying to read because I'm always, you hear me all the time talking about support your local business, support your local bookshops, all the stuff, all that stuff. And I had a book that I had purchased from one of the independent bookstores, and I hadn't read it. And y'all, I think I bought this book in 2022, 2023. Okay, it had been a minute, and it's called Unvarnished: A Gimlet-Eyed Look at Life Behind the Bar. So, and I'd started listening to it on the audio, like audiobook wise, but it was kind of getting on my nerves. Like I didn't like the narrator, and it's not that they were a bad narrator. I think it's just the subject matter. I was like, I probably need to, go ahead and just read this book. And so, because like I'd purchased the book, but I was like, I felt like the first chapter, I was like, oh, this is going kind of slow. But it's because I had so many things going on, and every time I would, sit down, I'm like, oh, is there a project I could be doing? It's hard for me to read in my house with an actual book. I can do it online for some reason, but when I just sit, it just feels a little too decadent sometimes. So I took that book with me and I managed to finish like 3 chapters. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be bringing this book with me everywhere I go. Now, some people brought library books. So I would definitely recommend it as something where, bring something that you have a hard time starting or finishing. Maybe you're stuck in the middle. And sometimes you just kind of, you're like, you know what? I just kind of need people around me. And a lot of times what they do, I believe, is like, you kind of sit and a lot of people will put like, their ear pods in or something like that. Or they'll kind of like, just be kind of quiet with it. And sometimes people will chat a little bit. So, again, I think that, and I have, because I've only been to like one one of the meetings. So I don't know. And it wasn't a regular meeting. It was kind of more like a party, festive atmosphere kind of thing. But I did in that festive atmosphere manage to get 3 chapters read. So that's pretty exciting. I might actually finish this book. And it meets on a monthly basis. So you can just, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to be bringing this book and hopefully I can get this book finished by July. And I read pretty quickly, but I thought, you know what, let's just go ahead and bring this book. So that way I'm not skipping chapters. I'm actually, making some progress with this book. So again, that's why, I was there at the Jowler Creek Winery because we met up there and we just kind of meet throughout, we try to support local businesses like in the Northland. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about that. Okay. Now there's a little bit of comfort. Okay. Just a little bit. We need a lot of comfort, but I just got a little bit of comfort. I was kind of looking around and I was like, let's try to switch it up a little bit, right? So now what I've noticed with everything going on with cuts and stuff like that, a lot of cool podcasts, they're getting cut, right? They, the corporate sponsors are like dropping them, whatever. But the good news is there's still an archive that you can listen to. And I love a good archive, even if I know if I look and see, oh, the show stopped in 2024. Okay, but who got interviewed? And I'm like, oh, I like this author. Let me just go ahead and listen anyway. And so I'm one of those people. Like I'll go and watch old shows with old interviews and whatever. I don't if it's a good interview, it's a good interview. And so in the vein of that, this is called My Life in a Biscuit Tin and it's based out of the UK and it's from Good Housekeeping UK. So I don't know, like I went on the website on the YouTube channel and it looks like, they kind of stopped, producing these. But, the interview that I listened to, like I listened to Paula Sutton's interview, It was really good. So again, that's like my little pop of comfort for you, My Life in a Biscuit Tin from Good Housekeeping UK. Something to check out, just, if you're looking for a little comfort. And on that note, as I kind of look for some comfort from all the activities that I have got planned this summer, and I also am planning on doing some special kind of like World Cup kind of segments in the sense of like, we always think about the tourists, and that is great. We love tourists, coming here. We really do support that and whatever. But I know that some of the locals are like, well, what am I going to do? Like, I like soccer, but I want to do other things. I don't want to just be in soccer land for a month. And what can I do? And so I am going to suggest some quaint and cozy things to kind of think about. And again, some of these things as I'm going to research, but some of these things might be closed because of the World Cup, but they might not be. So again, listen to this podcast, go to the show notes, and and like follow me on social media and all that other stuff at quaintandcozykc.com for my website, and then also Quaint and Cozy KC on YouTube, Tickety Tockety, Instagram, and Facebook, because I will have segments on, some things that you can do. There's so many cute hidden treasures in Kansas City, and also the tourists are welcome to go to those treasures as well. But I know sometimes whenever, because I've lived in Los Angeles, I've lived in Newport, Rhode Island, I've lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and all those places would host major events, and I would be there. And so there's certain things as a local that, sometimes you're like, oh, wow, I can't get from this side of the city to the other side. So how about explore, your city, especially if you're a remote worker and you don't have to commute. Okay. On that note, I will, talk to you later. Thanks so much for all of your support. It really does mean a lot to me. Okay. Take care and I'll talk to you soon.